Thank you for coming back for our third episode. We've made a slight change to the menu, as it were. With each guest, we reset the table for a new conversation and what we're affectionately calling the next turn moving forward. So welcome to episode 3, calling this one Finding What's Lost. I first met Misha in person in Philadelphia, despite living down the proverbial road in the DC area. In a way, we all found her that weekend as she was in Fibblethip cosplay. Misha is never truly lost, though, weaving her own spells in the world that blend art, science, and whimsy. I'm excited to welcome our third guest of the show, a dear friend and confidant, Misha, the Magic Mishamigo.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be
Welcome.
here.
It's always fun when I get to see you and we get to hang out. Usually it's funny. All of us in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, we all have a Discord. We all keep in touch regularly, but we seem to only get together in other states or for birthdays.
I mean, it is a good thing that we do have a lot of spaced out birthdays, but yeah, I mean, we're all just living busy lives and it's hard to plan and we get together when we can though.
Yeah, it's always kind of an event to get anywhere. It's like, oh, hey, we were going to go to this game store. And in a way, we're all traveling across state lines, sitting on the Beltway. I think most of our time is spent sitting in our cars in traffic instead of sitting, waiting for someone to finish a turn.
Yeah. It was nicer when I lived a little further north. Now it's when we plan something out, I'm like planning for an event. Like it's all day because, it takes like an hour to get there. And then obviously I want to spend time with everybody and then an hour back home. So it's a full day
I
plan.
I think we need to do Misha Fest then, maybe. Just all of us come down to your place. We all just barbecue, hang out, sleep on the floor, play Magic.
You guys are more than welcome. Honestly, we could set that up. We do have one full guest bedroom. We have another my craft room. I can put a secondary bed in there. Um, it depends if Scott gets stuck on a boat again. If my bedroom becomes open and multiple people can sleep in there like last time.
Do we need like a running tally of how many times Scott has been stuck on a boat?
It's really only been one, but it could always happen again. We never know.
And it was such a long-standing epic experience. It was like his own version of the Odyssey.
I mean, yes, it was his birthday, it was our housewarming party, it was SCG Richmond, and he was just never heard of. I mean, we still had the party. It was great. He just wasn't there for it. Um, so
Does he exist? Yes or no? It's Schrodinger Scott.
I can confirm he exists. Matt saw his hand waving on camera a little bit ago.
That could have been your hand. You could have like awkwardly reached
That's true.
over and
But
hi.
the,
Wait, let me see if I can make this work. Hi, how's it going?
you
Just
know,
saying.
we'll never know.
That's where the magic happens. And that's a good place to kind of jump into it. I love asking everyone who comes on one of my favorite questions, which is, what's your foundation? How did you come to join the gathering, as it were? What brought you to Magic? What was your first experience? Do you have a first card you remember, a person in your life that was a very important reason you joined? And this could be the first time, the second time, or third, fourth, or fifth time you've come back.
Well, speaking of Scott, he actually kind of was the reason I got into Magic. So back during the pandemic, good old 2020 time frame,
We're
we
still
were
in
we
2020.
mentally we've never left, yes. But we uh we had met, but he didn't want to date me because it was going to be long distance. I know he made a mistake, and we forgive him for
We do. It took some doing, but we have finally forgiven Scott. And you all should too out there.
Yes, please forgive Scott for his transgressions. No, we had met, but I was not living in Virginia at the time, and so I was back in Missouri. But I really liked him, and we had started playing video games together because we were both gamers. And I saw that he was playing this MTGA game because Arena just has it all smushed together as an acronym, and I didn't have any idea what it was. But I knew that he was playing this game and not paying attention to me, and I didn't like that. I did not like that at all. And so I was like, "Hey, what are you playing?" And he's like, "Magic." And I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, it's this card game. There's an online client." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "If you want to learn, they have like a tutorial thing you can do."
Well, he didn't even
So
offer to teach you himself. Like, go check out the tutorial.
he
It's like
basically,
maybe good.
yeah, he was like, "That's gonna be the best way. So go do this, like download it, do the color challenge." And I won't even lie, the color challenge, the red one in particular, gave me trouble. I didn't realize you could activate activated abilities more than once. I thought it was like a
Hmm.
one and done type thing. And so I almost like just rage quit and then left it and never even picked it back up until, thank goodness, for some random person knowing that new players are kind of dumb, me, and he made a tutorial on how to beat the color challenge.
You know, there's a tutorial for anything I find out there if you're willing to search for random things. I always joke that's how I learned how to do basic warranty repairs on washers and dryers. So anyone out there, if
Hmm.
your washer and dryer are having issues with their motors or drains, you can learn too how to do it through YouTube.
Yeah,
Also, the color challenge, which I think was tougher than learning how to fix appliances.
it was hard, and so I looked it up, and then when I found out, "Wait, I can do this more than once," I felt so stupid, but it was okay. So I finished my color challenge, and then we started playing, like, some standard decks against each other, just, because that's what they start you off with is
Hmm.
standard on that, and I remember he had this disgusting mono white Heliod life gain deck, and I was like, "This thing's indestructible." Like, this is the most broken, stupid card I've ever seen. I hate it. I didn't know much about Exile or like how things work, and I was like, I can't beat this thing. It's disgusting. So, one of my first traumas in Magic was Heliod, the one that goes like infinite, puts
Hmm.
counters and stuff. And so, yeah, Scott would beat me down with his mono white Heliod life game deck, and I hated it. And then it became like a spite thing of I just wanted to build something to punish his Heliod deck, so I would feel better about losing all the time.
I think
And
that's how most of us feel playing against Scott in any format is I need to
yeah.
come back and punish you. Stupid Palantir of Orthanc.
Mhm, mhm. So
I'm not bitter.
that's how I, yeah, me either. I don't have a hatred for Heliod till to this day. Uh, but yeah, that was back in 2020. Learned to play on Arena with Scott, and then I just started watching a bunch of YouTubers because I was like, well, I got to get better, and I need to learn somehow. Well, not you. I'm more on Twitch because
Mhm.
uh, just to let you know, I like Twitch a lot because they'll sometimes talk back to you, and I like the attention. Um,
We all do. We all deserve to feel special.
Yeah, and so I started watching Twitch streamers, to learn how to play Magic better, but at that point, I didn't know that there were multiple formats. I was
Mhm.
like, "Standard, this is the one and done. It's the one they gave me, it's how I learned," and that's when I started seeing, other streamers playing other formats. One of the big ones was Voxy,
Mhm.
and she pretty much exclusively plays limited, and I was like, "What is this weird format where she's taking a card at a time?
Mhm.
It's like putting together a puzzle and seeing what sticks," and I'm a person that loves puzzles. And so I started watching her play limited all the time. And I was like, this is the format for me. I love it. And that was my main introduction to Magic, how I fell in love with, playing limited and my, obviously things have just grown from there. I've played standard a lot. I've played obviously limited, sealed, commander, some of the other like constructed formats that you have to have like a bit of a collection. Not into those so much, but I've played borrowed decks here and there. So that's how it all began.
And then now you've gone from being an introductory player to exploring all the different formats to even being a caster at some events.
Yeah, I used to cast for the VML,
Mhm.
and that was really cool. That all standards. That's why I ended up playing a lot of standard was because I needed to be familiar with the meta, even the off meta decks on how they interact with the meta. Because a lot of those are built to like take down the top performing decks. But then sometimes when you get an off meta deck against another off meta deck, you're like, ooh, I don't know how this is supposed to play out together. How are we gonna work it? So yeah, it was really cool getting into casting because obviously it's usually two casters and you have to have a bit of a rapport and you figure out who is more your like technical, like let's get into the nitty gritty details and who's your flavor caster. there to bring the jokes and, you know, I did a little bit of both, but I definitely had one that I liked a bit more than the other.
Which that's what's so key is really the partnerships and the pairings in
Mhm.
Magic. Even when you're playing competitively, it's been fascinating to meet people in that space. It's not one I really get involved in, but it's so neat to see high level competitive play, but also the friendships that come from it. People who are rivals one moment at the table are best friends the next minute, the witty banter, the gathering aspect of it all.
Yeah.
The meta analysis is always fascinating to me, and it's one of the things I wish I had time to really kind of dive into and understand every once in a while, because I'm a big data nerd. I love kind of identifying the math and the percentages of what works, what doesn't. When that weird little kind of design comes out of nowhere and just sweeps, you have kind of a scientific background,
I do.
and I don't
My
think a lot of people know about it.
Probably not. Like, I talk about it sometimes, but not all the time. I have a background in geological engineering. I have a bachelor's in that. I've worked in a variety of earth science fields. I started off in the oil field. That was kind of short lived. They sent me to Siberia, and I didn't like Siberia, so I came back.
That was the best little. Yeah, I went to Siberia. Yada yada.
it it was a time, 2 weeks. It was a 2 week time. Um, But I came back and then I was like, okay, well, the oil field's also in a downturn, so probably not going back into that industry anytime soon. And so started looking at my options and got in contact with someone I knew from a professional society in college. He did environmental work, so I ended up going into the environmental field, which is like a big 180. You go
Hmm.
oil field to environmental. It's like, yep, I'm doing the good work now. That's kind of
Hey,
how it felt.
sometimes we have to take that route, right?
Yep. And so I did environmental work for a number of years, and then, I ended up switching to a different company, and when I switched to that company, they were having me travel a lot. So that was actually when I first came out to Virginia for the first time.
Hmm.
I was out just working here for, like, 3 months long distance. That's when I originally met Scott. Um, but then I went back to Missouri and was still traveling for a while, and then I made a joke. It always starts with a joke for me. Like I just can't ever be serious, and then serious things happens out of jokes I make. I made a joke to he wasn't even my manager at the time, about how, man, it would really be nice if I could like not be traveling all the time. Like if I could just like come home from work and be like actually home. And he was like, haha, I can't tell if you're being serious. And I'm like, me either. A little bit of both. And he was like, well, if you actually like want to like change positions to where you can come home after work every day and be home, if you want to move to the East Coast, you could, if you switch over to the geotech side from the environmental side, we really need geotechs out here. And I was like, hmm. And so I did that. I actually did a year in Boston first. I don't know what was going through my mind. I mean, it was right around COVID time, so nobody was really in their right mind at that time.
True.
But I ended up going and doing a year in Boston. I moved up to Boston in March of 2020, so great time to move to a big new
Ooh,
city where you don't know anybody.
yeah,
Um,
right in the beginning of everything. I remember
uh-huh.
that month. I won't say fondly.
Yep. So packed it up, drove like from Kansas City all the way out to Boston, March of 2020, with the cats, and they screamed the whole 24-hour drive. It was great.
They just want to make sure you're awake.
They did a great job of that. I'll tell you what. Um, they were very good alarms of no sleep for anybody. But yeah, I tailed it back up to Boston. Was there for a year. It was a really rough, sad year because I was an essential worker, so I was still working, but it was rough. So after a year, I was like, "Hey, I know that I moved to Boston, but what about Virginia? Can we my lease is almost up. Can I actually go down there? I actually know people in
Hmm.
Virginia." And so they're like, "Yeah, but we're not going to pay for it this time." I'm like, "That's fine. That's fine. Just get me out of Boston."
That's better trade off. It's a sucky trade off with the financial, just knowing what it's like to move cross states, but in the end,
It
worth it.
it worked out because I moved moved down to Virginia. I'd finally convinced Scott that maybe we should date. You know, it only took like a year of wearing him down, but it worked. We'd still like stayed like long distance, like gaming friends, and I'd like check in once a month. Like, want to date now? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll check back next month. Um,
I am giving him such a hard time next time I see him.
but yeah, moved down to Virginia. We like actually gave it a real go, and lo and behold, we're married. And now my life is all surrounded by magic stuff. Like, who would have thought that's where me just being jealous that he wasn't paying attention to me where the blood.
It's kind of funny how that happens. That's how I got back into Magic during COVID as well, like, after a long hiatus, so I pretty much had to start from scratch. I had to learn what all the formats were because there weren't formats when I first played,
Hmm.
and it was an experience, but YouTube and Twitch were what really got me going in understanding it and then playing with people. I was living in the Florida Keys for work at the time, which is in COVID, you're already isolated on an island that's 2 by 4 miles, but when
Ooh,
everything is cut off, it's it's weird, but I had some good friends
yeah.
down there in the game space who said, "Hey, you used to play Magic, right? Wanna learn again?" Like, "Okay, you just triggered that part of my brain that's gonna read everything on the internet about it, and look at me now."
I mean, you get it, but yeah,
Mhm,
no, it's been a wild ride. It's taken me from like one career to the next, and now that I've been in Virginia, I took some time off from doing,
mhm,
the engineering work. Did did magic creation for a bit,
mhm.
and I was luckily in a position where I could do that. But
I think that kind of doesn't speak enough. You didn't just do creation. I mean, you created, but you brought magic to life in so many different ways, including when I first met you in person. When we found you, that is, that weekend. We had to
yeah,
keep an eye on you.
yeah, so, I was still working doing the geotech work when I first started doing, the magic costumes.
Mhm,
I hadn't quit just yet, but, yeah, was playing Magic and starting to get more into, like, the Vorthos and, like,
mhm,
looking at, like, what are these weird little creatures and silly little guys? And so that's when I was like, and I had done cosplay before. Obviously, during COVID,
mhm,
nobody was cosplaying. I mean, some people were, but, like, there were no events, so,
mhm. It was more
like,
photo shoots, kinda keeping
yeah.
the genres alive through it.
Yeah, it was basically just social media based, and I'm definitely one of those people who I want to dress up and go to an event. So
Mhm,
I didn't really do much cosplay for a number of years because of moving and just a lot of stuff. But I started getting into the magic lore and being like, these are just weird little creatures and silly things. And when it was Oktoberfest was
mhm.
announced, I saw there was a cosplay contest, and I was like, I haven't dressed up or made anything in a long time. This seems like a good excuse to find something silly and fun and try to make it and just see what I could do. So that's when I started like looking at like creatures and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, this silly little blue creature that gets lost all the time, that could be me. That could be me. And that's really where the idea to do Fibblethip came from. Was I saw there was a cosplay contest and I vibed with the lost little homunculus, and I was like, "Yeah, that's Imma do it."
And we are thankful for it. I cannot think of Fibblethip without thinking of you, and everyone else should as well. You are in my opinion, the original Fibblethip in reality. But that was Oktoberfest was a blast. So many of us met for the first time up in
Yes.
Philly, coming from all over the East Coast. It was definitely an iconic weekend for just what it jump started for so many in the community, if you think about it. Um, you also had quite a gorgeous playmat that was commemorating that event.
Yes. Hmm. Scott,
He does exist.
I need a favor. Let's see if he's listening to me. He's playing World of Warcraft right out there,
Oh, he might be in
so
the middle of a raid.
it's not raid night. He's not raiding.
That's the only buzzword I know from World of Warcraft. Raids and Guilds, and Leroy Jenkins.
Mm, classic.
Mhm.
Will you grab my Fibblethip playmat for me? He's fine. But yes, I as part of the prizing for Oktoberfest, it was only a two-person it ended up only being a two-person cosplay contest, but they did honor
Mhm.
the prizes, which was amazing. Um, I got a custom art playmat done by none other than the lovely Andre Garcia.
Who's the
Uh,
best?
love love him, and so that's actually how he and I met, and we've have a beautiful friendship now because of it. But he did this playmat for me, and the idea behind it was Fibblethip wandering into a Liliana lookalike contest. And so it is one of my prized possessions. I absolutely love and adore it. But yeah, you'll see him soon. I hear him bounding down the stairs. Um,
It's one of those iconic moments, and it's the most Fibblethip thing I can think of. And weren't some of the judges also dressed as Liliana?
yes,
Because
Elle was
Mhm.
dressed as Liliana because I their little Liliana crown didn't, arrive in time, and they didn't have time to make one, so I actually, like, whipped up a quick one for Elle to wear to judge the contest.
I love that.
This is it. I think that's a good
Oh, it's perfect. It's one of
yes.
my favorite pieces, by Andre, and just in general because of all the memories that it sparks up.
Yeah. I don't think I said this, but Oktoberfest, I believe, was the very first Magic event I ever went to. Like
Wow.
Like, it was my very first one, and honestly, like, I couldn't be happier because I really did meet, like, so many of the people I consider close friends now.
Mhm.
I met you there, Yog there, Veggie. That was the
Mhm.
first time I met Veggie. So yeah, and there were just so many more people. Shannon, uh, yeah, there were just so many lovely people, and
That whole
I'm still
Philly crew.
friends. Yes, love the Philly people.
Yeah, we almost need another con back up there. It was so much fun.
Yes,
It could be
bring
big, it could be
MagicCon to
small.
Philly again.
Please bring another drivable one to the East Coast. It would make our lives so much easier. But you don't need to put it in DC. That's a nightmare.
No, not DC, Philly. Philly.
Phil
Richmond. Richmond?
Richmond would be great. My first Magic just event ever was Command Fest Richmond right after the pandemic, and that's where I first met in person Beth and Corey, that TCG guy,
Mhm.
and we had an Airbnb together, the three of us. We'd all
Nice.
played together, and it's like, all right, we're all going to do this. I met Hobbs for the first time there. Who
That's a
else?
interesting place for Hobbs to pop up, but, we love him.
So it was kind of funny is he was coming down with I am blanking on who it was. It was someone in the DC area and they were originally going to come in and like take the train down and then go back. But then flights all got messed up and I ended up driving him to he was in a drive back with me to DC to get to the airport, but he ended up getting his flight changed to Richmond. So I was Hobbs's chauffeur and we just spent the whole time just driving to the airport. And I'm like, this best person to road trip with, hands down. Um, anyone who doesn't know Hobbs, go meet Hobbs. It's probably worth a trip to Minnesota.
Would agree.
Mhm,
I've been to Minnesota, seen him in Minnesota. I've seen him many other places too, but
mhm.
lovely. Another just goofy little guy in the Magic community.
Yeah, one of the original goblins. He just appears, I feel, like Beetlejuice. You mention his name enough times and he's going to show up and the world will be better for it.
Yes.
It's kind of funny how all these little small regional events end up bringing us together to these larger ones, right?
Yes, I feel like we're very lucky being in,
Mhm,
like, the Virginia, DC area because we we don't get spoiled, but we do get a lot of events out here that
mhm,
are within, like, a reasonable distance to
mhm.
drive to. Anything up in, like, Baltimore, we've been getting, SCG cons in DC, we've
Mhm.
gotten SCGs down in Richmond, we're gonna be getting an actual Command Fest in Alexandria at the end of this year. Like,
So excited.
we're in a really good area for Magic events in general.
especially the real grassroots ones. We get a lot of good
Yes.
tournaments. There's a good crew up towards Pittsburgh, I want to say. I mean, not just the Steel City crew, but just in general, there are a lot of formats up there that are hosting their own tournaments, which is
Hmm.
nice to see people get into different formats, come together, kind of evolve the game, as it were. And then we're seeing new creators come out of it and all sorts of elements.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm really happy being in this area just because it gives me a lot of opportunities to one, see my friends that I already have, and
Mhm.
two, make new friends, which is always great.
One thing that you're always very good at when it comes to making friends and building the gathering is bringing people in. And you've done a lot of work with multiple charities, which I'd love for you to give shout outs to any and all of them on. But I'd love to know what you would like to see, what your thoughts are, and all your hard work on bringing more people into science, into arts, into games, and changing the personal format, as it were, to make it
Yeah.
more open, more varied, more unique, more
Yeah. So
inclusive.
I guess I'll just jump right in. My first introduction to like trying to make the Magic community more inclusive and welcoming was my work with the VML. I had never heard of it, but one of my local friends, I think you've met them, Freddie.
Mhm.
They don't, yeah. So Freddie, um, we played limited at the game store down in Fredericksburg all the time. And they told me, they're like, hey, I've been playing in this league for people of marginalized genders. Would you want to join and play at standard? And I was like, sure, why not? Sounds fun, sounds interesting. They have testing teams, so if you want to like work with people and get better, like they'll coordinate having a team for you to practice and learn with. And I was like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
And so I went and signed up. That was actually season 7 of the BML. So it had already been on and going for, 6 seasons prior.
I didn't
And
realize that. It was a great organization.
yeah. And so I jumped in and learned about it at season 7. And I actually did really, really well my first season. The way that they ran the tournaments were you would have a basically like a group of 8 and you would play round robin within that group. So you would play all 7 other people and then the top 2 in your group of 8 would then go on to like a finals bracket essentially. There were like I think some seasons we had like a wild card round, but then you eventually just went to a top 32 bracket and then it was single elimination through that bracket. And the way the VML worked in order to, because we had people from all over the world playing,
Mhm.
was that each week is what you would play one match, like your round robin. So you knew who you were playing and you just had to coordinate with that other person that you had to do the match with. And you had basically a full week to um, play your match, turn in the results. And then next week you would play the next person and do the same thing. So it gave you a lot of freedom to do your planning and playing, which accommodated, we were trying to accommodate as many people as possible.
Talk about work life balance and just
Yeah. And so, like, obviously, sometimes people like couldn't get them figured out. So we had like a default time of like I think 2 p.m. on a Friday is when you would play, just to say like if you can't come to a scheduling agreement. But we always tried to like. Well, this was even before I was part of leadership, but we tried to make it accommodating to as many people as possible. And so I, went through. I actually made it into the top 32 bracket. I was the one of the top 2 in my little grouping. And my first round of the top 32, I played against, her name is now, last name has changed, but it was Caroline Pardee,
Mhm.
you know, Pro Tour husband.
Mhm.
Like she has a husband on the Pro Tour. She herself is a fantastic player. She had, I think, won the VML once or twice already at that point.
Mhm.
So my very first opponent in this finals bracket was Caroline, and I managed to take her to a game 3, and it was close. So I felt pretty good
Nice.
about that. And fun fact. She went on to win the VML that season. So I was like, I can't even be mad. I lost to the overall winner. But that was my first introduction to the VML. And so the next season came around and they actually had put out like a call for casters. And I was like, oh, now that I've gotten into it and I've played a season and I've been, watching the broadcast because we would do like a Friday night broadcast. What we would do is, I don't know if a lot of people knew this, is that we would have the players record their matches that they'd played throughout the week, and the casters wouldn't watch them beforehand, but the games themselves would be recorded, and then we would have the casters basically live commentate the pre-recorded matches on Fridays on the Twitch stream.
Well, that's a clever plan, and that makes it fresh for you as you're going through it, so you can
Yeah.
really get the improv and the heat of the moment from it, the excitement, but it
Yeah.
also works around that schedule so that everyone who takes part gets their share of the spotlight.
Yeah,
I
and so
love
it
that.
was really neat because, you know, like you said, we were accommodating people in the recording, but the commentary was still fresh and new. Like that was the live it was like a live reaction, which is really unique and very well thought out. So yeah, I submitted a basically an audition tape to be a caster, and they picked me. And I was like, "Oh gosh, this is so exciting." So I did play in season 8. I did not do well in season 8, but I became a caster, and then when I became a caster, I didn't realize that the casters were actually the ones that organized and picked the feature matches for like every Friday's broadcast. Because I think it was 4 matches were commentated every Friday,
Mhm.
and so they were the ones coordinating with the players. They also we would do like a little slideshow for all of those feature players of like what's like one of your favorite planes? How did you approach this matchup? So you would like ask them the questions, put their answers in, and make like a little PowerPoint slide or like just slides for the present or for the broadcast on Fridays. And so the 2 caster pairs for each week were doing that individually. And some people were a little better than others about being timely on that. And so I ended up um, taking that over just because a lot of people were like asking, like, hey, can you cover this? And so I was already like kind of like stepping in and helping out to cover when people were too busy or something. And then we just came up with the idea probably like season 9 or 10 of what if I just take that over? And so I ended up, because I just kept taking more responsibilities, gaining like leadership, and I became the head of production. I was not the producer. That was Phoebe. Phoebe's phenomenal. She always did a fantastic job, like getting everything ready. But I became like just the head of production. I would schedule the casters, I would pick the feature matches and like take care of all of that. And that's how I grew in like leadership in the VML, which was really cool. And because I became a leader in the VML, that's when we originally had the idea um, to start doing like the safe play spaces. They
Mhm.
had before I had joined, they had done I think one at Magic 30, but then we put together like a big proposal to start doing them at future Magic Cons, and that I think it was like the third time is when we were talking about, hey, we could cover a lot of the more competitive, marginalized players and like marginalized people of marginalized gender. But we don't really have a lot of like the creators or the creatives um, that are in this marginalized category. And so I was like, hey, there's this other group called BOP that I'm getting involved with. I had joined, but I like was still just like a general member at the time. And so they're like, Misha, you're involved with this group. They're mostly content creators. Do you think we could work together? And I was like, I think this could work out really
Mhm.
well. So that is what started the first VML BOP safe play space at Magic Cons. And then now, unfortunately, the VML did not survive too much longer after that. It was great. But BOP has continued going, and we did our safe play spaces at Magic Cons. And then the Gathering Grounds, Wizards actually created their own whole area. And I like to think that it was because of the VML and BOP kind of shoehorning it. That's what started Wizards to think, yeah, we could make this a whole area and do more. And so yeah, now we've been a part of the Gathering Grounds since it started, and it's been really exciting. BOP has also changed in a lot of ways. We went from being more of just like a community group for people of marginalized gender. And now we have our official 501c3 status, and we've broadened that horizon to include people of all marginalized backgrounds because we were having a lot of people where it's like, I'm not marginalized gender, but my sexuality
Mhm,
or I'm a person of color, like I'm marginalized in this space still. And I just need to, I want to find a place where I belong. And, you know, being empathetic people, it's like we want to have a space for you where you feel comfortable. But right now we were only focusing on marginalized gender. And so when we had a new change of leadership, we're like, let's just break it open. Let's make this space just more inclusive and welcoming for all marginalized backgrounds. And so that's what we did, and that's who Bop is now. Now that we have our official charity status, we actually just um, put out the press release that we're doing grants. Those open at the end of this month. I think it's July 28th. So we're offering grants to help with professional development in the magic community. That can be used toward going to events and making networking connections, or it could just be to help with content like the way charity stuff works, you have to be a little specific, but
mhm,
yeah. So we're offering grants and we're just trying to make it more accessible because magic can be expensive. Going to events can
mhm,
be expensive, and when you're marginalized, you're already disenfranchised. And so these grants are just to try to help people of marginalized backgrounds be able to make some of these like just really important lifelong connections, memories, and just give them access to really a lot of the stuff that I personally was able to experience and has brought me to where I am in my life. And I know how much it's meant to me. And I just want more people to be able to experience that and be able to have like just cool opportunities. And I mean, my creative side would probably not be where it is today if it wasn't for like meeting so many people, making cosplays and, so yeah, that's kind of what's, yeah.
I well, first off, I didn't realize y'all got the official status, so
Hmm.
congratulations on that.
Thank
That's
you.
I always love what VML and Bop did. The first space that you created at MagicCon was massive, and everyone coming through it, playing all the formats, people who were more casual getting introduced to competitive and vice versa. My personal like lore for the Gathering Grounds is that it is because of y'all, and that's the story I'm always going to stick to. It's one of my favorite places to wander through whenever I go to a Magic Con and I get a break from Magic Kids is go through the Gathering Grounds, see friends who are working with Bob, working with all the other charities, and just all the wonderful new people that are experiencing a MagicCon for their first time, many of them through either the New Perspective grants or through donations from other charities, from friends, or just the pure luck of being able to go. And that's really the magic of it all, is seeing these new people coming in and the future of the community that they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just really important to give people a place where they feel welcome, where they feel comfortable, and where they can express themselves in a genuine, authentic way and know that, like, you can sit with us because we all belong here. And
Mhm.
that's just really important to us.
Yeah, there should always be a seat at the table for anyone. And if the pod's full, then you're still welcome to come hang out and watch or take the next spot when it comes around.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I personally, I'm fine with a five pod, but six, you break it into two threes.
Yeah, I've played some of the really large, obscene pods just because, hey, we're all here killing time at a restaurant, or wouldn't this be funny? And no, thank you. I have enough of a time keeping track of my board state some days. I don't need to keep track of everyone else's. I usually will just focus on mine and be like, hey, you look like you're far enough away from me, kind of attack you, thinking that the distance around the table will have an effect on it.
I'm actually really guilty if it's like a four-person pod and another person wants to join. I'm like, here, take my spot. I'm happy to just observe.
A good crew on a five-person pod, though, can be fun if you've got the right group for it. I've had some wonderful experiences, strangely enough. It does take a little bit longer, so you gotta be ready, but if you're just killing time and there are 5 of you and you need something to do, y'all have decks, give it a go. At the very least, you will be laughing hysterically even though no one has made it through a full turn.
True, true. I will say, like, I've had plenty of times where, like, there's been 5 and people have asked me, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the colorful commentary for your game. I will make jokes and, keep you all entertained while not playing myself."
We need more live commenters at casual commander pods, just making funny voices, making jokes, doing it like it's a PGA Tour golf announcer. "Oh, quiet please on the green. Weird than have."
We have a large stack interaction here, give them some time, they need to think.
Mhm. A player is processing, processing. "Oh, I believe we have one piece of a combo." And then just say something random that has no bearing on what actually is being doing just to mess with the other members of the pod.
I was gonna say one of my favorite things to do is, I heavily enjoy giving cards nicknames. Like there's the nicknames that, everybody knows. Everybody knows Gary, everyone knows Steve.
Mhm,
I think we've collectively accepted that Shelly is Sholdred,
mhm.
but
Or
I
mommy,
like or we accept that as well.
but
There's a
also
few
for Nora.
mommies.
Yeah, they're a
Yeah,
couple.
there's a few. That one is interchangeable. Um, but there's, like, some that I'll see them and I'm like, "Mm." One of my favorites that Scott's not a fan of at all is my nickname for Orcish Bowmasters is Orky B. Like, Orky B has entered the battlefield. So,
We need to
I
make this
like
stick.
yeah, I think Orky B, that's solid. It's a solid name.
Orky B. I
It's so
mean, the original art looks like an album cover. Orky B would work.
mhm. And so that's one of my favorite things, especially when it's a card I haven't seen, and I'm like, I can come up with something for this and, like, see what catches on. So that's, one of my personal little enjoyments that I get out of playing Commander is coming up with new nicknames for cards and seeing what sticks.
Every one of them should stick. We need to make this a thing. Should start an account just for nicknames of random cards.
Mhm.
You
So,
you talked a lot about how people kind of come together and are very welcoming and supportive of teaching new players coming in, especially with the gathering grounds. And one thing I've always heard from people who are getting into cosplay is how inclusive that is. I think back to Yogg coming in, wanting to do his Yawgmoth cosplay and going, I guess I'm cutting armor, and watching everyone who'd been had experience making armor from foam, people who make real armor out of metal coming in and go, hey, give me a call. I'll run you through the process. I'll explain the way to do it simply, what you'll need, how to do it on a budget, how to do it full scale, and everyone coming in because there's so many different talents that go into cosplay, not just being able to sew and stitch fabric together. There are other elements that really make those costumes come to life and bring a character from cardboard to reality.
yeah.
What was your experience from evolving further into the magic realm of cosplay, because you still do a lot on in the anime sphere, you had the background in that. What has been sort of your growth in magic? And I will call out a certain item on a top shelf behind you that I believe I see.
Yeah. That one's pretty cool. This is my sword shrine if anyone was curious. But, yeah, that's the Sword of Fire and Ice from the very first cosplay grand championship that I was very, happy to have won.
It
Uh,
was that was an amazing group of competitors for that. Just the reality
yeah,
of it.
that I was shocked. I mean, you took a picture of me and sent it to me where, like, when they announced I'd won, my jaw just dropped and, like, it was, like, a solid probably 2 seconds of complete disbelief, not knowing if what I heard was, a hallucination or real.
The screams you heard were real because our entire section erupted for you.
I know it was very precious. It was a very, very good, day for me. Um, but yeah, just getting back ooh, let me put the camera back down. Uh, I don't think I actually moved it at all. Nope, too low. There we go. Um, the so I will say in general, cosplay, especially in, like, the anime communities, it can get really clicky and it can be very, like, a lot of superiority complexes. And so coming from the anime side, it was a little nerve wracking. I was kind of anxious to like, make even when I made Fibblethip, I was nervous that people would like it. When I made Slimefoot, I was like, I really hope people like know what costume this is, who I am, what I'm doing. And I was really anxious because the anime scene, like, there are and I have plenty of wonderful friends that are happy to teach and are encouraging, but you see a lot of people that are also just like, they didn't do this very well, which if you're competing and judging, like, giving criticisms is valid, but it would be like just random people being like, that person didn't deserve to win in this contest. This other person's costume was way better. And it's like, especially as I've gotten more into it and um I've done some, like, smaller judging. It's like, well, you actually don't know. You haven't seen any of these costumes up close to know what, like, the details and things like that look like. So it was really hard to see a lot of judgment and criticism in that community. But when I came to the Magic community and started getting to know a lot of the cosplayers here, it, like, just doesn't exist. Um, this has been extremely welcoming and inclusive, and people just we just wanna help each other. Like, I think what's so different about the Magic community as opposed to the anime community is that 90% of the time, you cannot just find a Magic cosplay online and buy it.
Mhm.
We have to basically make all of our costumes because it's just such a small community, and unless you're doing, like, some of the more iconic planeswalkers, they just there's not a lot out there to really be able to pick and choose and be like, I need this full size, full scale character because there's just not enough people out there to drive the demand to make people to make those costumes. So when you have to basically rely on making most things yourself, you need people to help.
Mhm.
And people, because we do love this game so much and we're so passionate about it, we want to see more people cosplay the characters we love. And so we're very happy to provide insight and any type of tips and tricks we've learned because we just want to see more of the stuff we love in the community. And I think that's one of the big differences between the anime community and Magic is just we are extremely passionate about the characters and the community or like in the game, and we want them to come to life in our community. And so we want to encourage people to like, yes, make that silly little outfit. Here's some ways that might make it easier for you if you're hitting a wall and getting frustrated. And because we don't want people to give up. We're like, we want you to push through. We want you to be successful. Have you tried this?
Mhm.
And I think that's just made us a lot more welcoming and just happy to share our knowledge and just try to help just because we want to see more cool stuff because you can't really buy these costumes. You do have to make them most of the time. And um, we're just more than happy to provide insight on how to make them.
Seeing people start out and push themselves and learn new techniques has been fascinating to me. And asking different cosplayers, asking you, asking Yogg, asking Dixon, asking Evan, like Dark Pack, trying to see like, whoa, this is fantastic. How did you do this? How did you bring this to life? And it could be something that you might anyone outside the community might be like, "Oh, you just stitched it." But no, there's something to that stitch that pulls the elements together, that allows it to hold. There's the science piece to it, there's the art piece to it, and then there's the community.
Yeah.
And all the parts that build to the final product that so many people see on stage. Before that, there's a lot of design. It's like one of the card they are bringing to life went through all of those phases from a little sticker stuck in a playtest card to several revisions over Word documents to the reality of finally being printed and played.
Yeah. I think honestly, that's one of the hardest things with Magic is that you take a character that has five different card arts. Most of the time, those are gonna have different elements in each and every one, and you're gonna have to figure out which elements do I bring and put together on my costume and, like, figuring out how to, like, parse, like, I want this piece from this part, this piece from this other part. Like, with Slimefoot, that was hard because there's, like, a few costumes and I'm like, "Oh, I hadn't seen that before." So
That's actually a good point I hadn't thought of is finding that core element to a character. It's almost like being an actor and trying to understand the scene. You're trying to understand what sparks joy in you to want to create it, and then what is gonna inspire all those around you. Slimefoot was amazing. And talk about a fun gal experience. I had to
I
say
see
it.
what you did there.
I had to, at the very least. Or it's but now I also kind of think of, okay, what are the commonalities across some of them? And it's like, oh, Oko, what's common out? It's shirtless. Okay, we can start
Mm,
there and
mhm, mhm,
and
mhm.
work. But Chandra, all the different iterations of Chandra that have been in art, but then also brought to life in cards is
Yeah. I mean, that girl has a lot of outfits.
mhm,
She's been through a many an outfit, and it's really
mhm,
cool to see, like, the different ones. Like, I've seen Tappy's race car version.
yep,
I know that Dana Fisher even wore, like, her Dress to Kill version,
mhm.
and so, like, seeing even just all these different, like, outfits of the same character is exciting. I mean, I put it Fibblethip in all sorts of outfits, but those aren't canon. I mean, they're canon now because 'cause I've been in them and been places, but,
We don't know they're not canon because when that happened, Fibblethip might have been lost. Fibblethip goes on a lot of experiences and adventures when we don't see them. So
True.
I think it's canon, but also because you did it, you were Fibblethip, thus it is reality.
But I one for me is that, like, lots of cards have Fibblethip being blue, but there's also lots of cards that have him being green. And I will give my head headcanon for why that is. I think Fibblethip in his natural state is blue.
Mhm.
And I stand by this. I think he turns green when he gets sunburnt and he's been outside for too long.
I feel like making a reflecting pool joke, but
When he's been in the pool for too long, he turns a little green.
he's been swimming in the Potomac.
Mhm.
This will only work for the year 2026.
People are gonna be like, "What's why do they keep talking about this reflecting pool? Like, what
Yeah.
happened?"
Anyone who is confused, go online and Google reflecting pool and memes, and you're welcome.
Great.
It's not a sunburn, it's an algae bloom.
Yeah.
I
Ugh.
I love that. And I think just the happiness that Philip brings to so many as the Where's Waldo of magic, but also just the humor in it is a good point to transition into the our final interview, which is a 10 questions we ask everyone that are all rooted in magic and sort of what are the fun things that spark joy or spark misery in some cases. This came out of, for those of us of a certain age, inside the actor studio with the Proust survey that would be done to all of these famous up and coming actors, ranging from what's a sound you love to a sound you hate, but magified. So, first question: what's a card that brings you happiness?
I think that's pretty easy. Thibblethip the Lost. It's my favorite little guy. He's just a silly, silly little dude, just wandering around. I love I mean, I think that's what inspired me to make magic cosplay, and it's just led to so many fun, silly, goofy experiences. And so I Stibblethip is my number one that brings me joy.
What's a card that brings you misery?
Psych Rift. F that thing. F that card. I mean, I love the cat version. That one gets a pass, but every other Psych Rift can shove it.
The only way I will run it now is if it's the cat version. In my defense, it's not like other cyclists when I run it because I forget to do the full version and just use it as targeted. But
If
even
if
still,
you don't overload it, I'll give you a pass. But if
okay,
as soon as I see a Psych Rift, I'm like, we got beef.
I would never want beef with you unless we're all going out for tacos, in which case
Okay,
beef is fine.
we can have beef talk, like food beef fine.
Okay. What plane would you like to live on?
Ooh. I I thought about this for a while, and I think there's like plenty of planes that'd be like, "Ooh, this is neat and cool." I want to go to Ikoria. I want to see all the weird little mutant creatures. I want
Oh,
to pet them. Can I pet that dog, cat, gorilla,
it,
porcupine?
it's friend shaped.
Yeah. Do some of those friends maybe hurt a little? Sure. But I want to see the cat dinosaurs. Like there's just so many cute, weird little critters. And I have a thing for weird little guys. I just want to go and pet all the weird little things there.
The first token I had made for myself from Inkling Tokens was Ikoria based with the background and then little weird dino cats.
They're so cute. I would keep a whole pack of them.
Mhm. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Touch a spiky crystal in the ground, or I don't know, get chased by Lurrus.
Okay, that's fine. I am a little sad. We as humans cannot mutate, and I think that is one I love the mutate mechanic. I know that's like a love or hate it, and I'm a lover of the mutate mechanic.
I like it. I wish that it would come back, maybe with the next Marvel set if we go more mutants.
That would be cool.
Maybe some oh, you know what'd be kinda interesting? Maybe, instant sorcery that have a mutate ability to it to add an effect?
Mm. I do think with Marvel, it would be interesting because you can't mutate onto humans. So you think they're going to do something that's like mutate, but for humans specifically?
I'd be curious because it makes me think of what they did with Ninja Turtles and how they
Hmm.
evolved ninjutsu into sneak, where suddenly you
Yeah.
had the same capability but with some spells. And that
Yeah. All
I
right, Wizards employees, if you're listening, I've got ideas.
I have a big belief, and I wrote something on the Flavor Hex blog on Universes Beyond being a way to evolve design and kind of take things to the next level, bring things back, reflavor them, tighten them up, or maybe expand on them. Sure, Sneak and Ninjutsu are different, but they do work well together.
Yeah, they're pretty dang close. Does
Hmm.
that make it hard for a judge? Yes.
Hmm.
But is it fun to have something that's like, I remember this? It's very similar to this other thing that I really liked.
Hmm.
So now I can do both.
You and I are both kind of Vorthos coded, so having the ability to really enhance the story of a deck through a neat little mechanic or a callback, it makes and breaks the game.
Yeah, my Zangief deck that's all about fighting, love it.
I love that deck, except when I'm playing against it and being thrashed. So, what is your favorite slice of the color pie?
Ooh, okay. So I had to think about this one too. I would have to say Jund because all of those are my three favorite colors,
Hmm.
and all of my two color pairings fall into those three colors. This might be blasphemous for me to say, but I would say I'm a Golgari girly above all else. I love Rakdos. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
I'm very Rakdos coded as a person. I as a
Judith.
person am Rakdos. I as a player love Golgari, but then I just love Jund because I get to do it all. So I think that's my slice is just the Jund slice.
Okay, so here's a very divisive question. Is it pie or is it cake? Which are you?
I mean, I know I like to eat cake more. So
Hmm. That's the thing. It's like they're pie people and they're cake people. So why does it have to be a color pie? It could be a color
yeah,
cake.
I'm a cake person. I would prefer to have my cake and eat it too.
I mean, who wouldn't, especially with Jund? You want to do it all. Bring it
Yes.
back and burn it down.
Mhm.
Okay, what's your favorite flavor text?
Ooh. I was gonna say, I had to do some thinking on this one, but I think I came up with a pretty good one.
Hmm.
Let me pull it up so I can like read it like perfectly.
But don't stare too deeply into it.
Mhm, mhm. That's where it gets you. Sorry, I had it pulled up and then I didn't. All right, loading. All right. Oh, don't be so dramatic. When your eyes bleed and your brain leaks out your ears, then we'll talk about lost sanity, said by Braid's Dementia Summoner.
I mean, it makes
That's,
sense that Braids would say that.
it is very, it does make a lot of sense. But that's the flavor text to Peer into the Abyss. I love that card. I love it in so many ways. The art's perfect. The flavor text is perfect. The ability is perfect. No notes. Design, you did great.
I believe everyone is familiar with it, but if you aren't, it's 4 and 3 black. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time. It's a sorcery that's worth looking at, but don't look too deeply again. And if you do, imagine googly eyes on every set in it. You can't unsee it. What is a recurring fault on your turn?
Hmm. Is it bad to say I have none? I'm perfect in every way. No.
My fault is doing it right.
Sometimes I guess if I had to have a fault, it would be whenever I'm playing decks that I really love playing Nekuzar,
Mhm.
and Nekuzar wants you to draw multiple cards. I do sometimes forget to draw my extra cards. I'm not taking damage, so like I sometimes forget. If you're drawing cards, I make sure you draw your right amount of cards and take your damage. But sometimes I will forget to draw my right amount of cards because I'm not taking damage. See, it's a gift. I'm helping you and hurting myself by not giving myself more card advantage.
You are so kind.
Hmm.
You are a kind and benevolent ruler, and we thank you for your
Thank
service.
you.
What card type are you?
Ooh, this one's hard because probably an instant just because 'cause I'm a little impulsive and it's just like, "Ha surprise." Like, when I think of instants, that's my, like, aha surprise moment, and I think that's just me, very me.
Misha, out of nowhere.
Um, like, that just feels very me, like, that yeah, I would say I'm an instant.
I'd have to add you're probably got split second too.
Yeah.
So what keywords would you have? Or keyword singular?
I'd like to think death touch, but I just love Death Touch, and so I'd like it to be Death Touch, but I don't think that's actually true.
Y
Um,
Can a hugger have death touch?
ha absolutely. That's how you get them.
It's like a Rakdos hug, you come in, but there's spikes.
Exactly. Oh, the keywords. This one really is hard. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of defaulting to like some of my favorite like keywords and things that also feel like they, fit the vibe. But oh, this one I think is definitely just real hard. Like I know there's a ton of keywords, which that just also makes it hard because there's so many to choose
There's so many.
from.
I mean, mutate would count, I'd think, in a way of your cosplay because it's a new persona, a new look coming upon you,
You know what? Yes, we'll go with mutate because I'm always changing, always slipping into some new outfit, new creature.
ever evolving.
Yeah, switching it up.
And then last but certainly not least, you arrive on the mana stage to open the next MegaCon. Where is it held, and what are you saying to welcome?
Well, because I'm greedy and I want one nearby, I think Richmond would be a great place to hold a Magic Con. They
Mhm.
did do a pro tour here last year that was closed, and it's like, why didn't you just make that a Magic Con? It could have been a Magic Con.
There's
Make it a
space.
Magic Con. Yes, come to Richmond. Um, and I would just say, welcome in, all you weird little guys. This is for all of us. Have a great time.
I love it. It's very you. It's very kind. It's very approachable.
Weird little guys is just so I'm putting it out there. It's a non-gendered term. Please accept that.
Full agree. We will take it and run with it because weird little guys are how a lot of us get started in this community and how we find each other and how we stay together. Misha, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with us today. It's always a pleasure to catch up and hang out, even if it's for official stuff or out in the world somewhere. I can't wait for the next time. Where can everyone find you?
My social medias on pretty much every place except Blue Sky is magic_Mishamigo, spelled Mishamigo, because I know that one's hard. On Blue Sky, you can't have underscores, weirdly enough, so it's just Magic Mishamigo all smushed together.
We cannot contain the Mishamigo-ness except on Blue Sky.
Except on Blue Sky. A little bit.
And how about Bop? Where can we find?
Birds of Paradise. We are on Blue Sky, Instagram. We have a website that I believe is just, let me double check. I think it's just Birds of MTG. Birds with an I, not with, yep, it's birdsofmtg.com if you want to check out our website. We also have a Discord server that if you would like to join, just DM one of our accounts and we'll send you an invite. everybody's welcome. If you're marginalized or if you're just an ally wanting to help support us, you can join the Discord and communicate with us in there.
It's an amazing organization, everyone. Please take time to go check them out. And if you're at a MagicCon anytime soon, stop by their table. It's going to be well worth it to meet some fantastic people.
It's it's a really lovely group. I've been apart for multiple years now, and it I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Bob, the VML, and just all the wonderful friends that I've made along the way. I love this community.
Misha, again, thank you. And thank you to all our listeners and watchers out there. We'll see you for the next turn in another week or two. Our music is by Cormac Bluestone, and I'm Flavor Pro Matt, your host. You can find me everywhere that Flavor Pro Matt can be typed in and smushed together. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you.